Bang. Okay, we did it again. We're doing it again. I guess we gotta start it the right way. Welcome to the justCARR podcast. Dun da da da. The horns are really important. This is episode 2 of season 2, which is really great. I feel like we're catching our stride, and you are
we got
like
2-2.
You know,
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
It's LinkedIn. No, interrupt. This is today. I have my girl Jodie on the podcast, and I'm gonna let Jodie talk about Jodie. But I just want you guys to know, as you're listening, that this will be the energy the entire time, which is you guys. Yeah, by the end of this, you guys are going to be loving Jodie in the same way that I love Jodie. And just a reminder, my name is Joshua Carr. I'm the owner of justCARR Creative Consulting. We provide creative and professional support for teams and organizations. And one of the things that, I'm offering this year is the podcast. I realize it's really important to bring it back. And I know, again, I said it in episode 1, we're not in a post-pandemic era, but we are in the era of like recovery. 2020 really knocked people out of the system, like a lot of people were unplugged from the matrix, so to speak. And we realized our different like emotional, physical, social needs, different ties and attachments that we had. And so in that way, I think that there's a handful of people that I know personally. Jodie is obviously one of them, who, despite what you would think is continuing to flourish and grow and do it all honestly and with transparency. Mm-hmm. So this is a great follow-up. I am so excited. And I guess before I talk too much about how I kind of know Jodie, I'll let you kind of just say what's up to the people, and just kind of let them know who you are. Don't tell them too much, because we're going to break into those questions.
Right. And like, who is Jodie? Like, honestly,
right.
My name is Jodie Smith, aka Magic Mountain Mama.
Mm-hmm.
Again, who is Jodie? My roles currently, I am a yoga teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a fiance, I am an herbalist and a magic woman. Yes. Outside of that, I don't know, I'm divine. Like, I'm okay. I'm an experience, and it's taken a long time to get to that point, to be able to say that with confidence. And yes, I am an experience, I'm different. But other than that, I'm a healer. And I'm about this natural life shit. I'm about this alignment. I'm about Black families becoming whole and the ascension. Like, lessons in ascension is what I'm about right now, and it's always have been, but now with the wisdom to lead others. So if that's a little blurb, I guess.
Man, and I know you saw the questions, but either way, like, you're just so like,
I haven't even
answered. So like, I haven't linked
even.
Up.
Oh, you're
good.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be so good. So because I do really want you guys to get into this, in true fashion, I have to let you guys know how I know Jodie, and I guess my reason why she's on the podcast. Number 1, she's amazing. You'll get that by the end. Number 2, Jodie was one of the businesses that we connected with last year during BNBE programming. And first of all,
that was insane. That was a whole thing. Loved
it's it. Like, and we didn't even know. Well, I guess we knew. Mm-hmm. Like, me and myself, DJ, and Will, we're actually doing an episode together. But I'm pretty sure Jodie responded to the Survey Monkey, which is how we were collecting information from the businesses. Mm-hmm. And then I think she messaged us on Instagram as well. It was just like, hey, I sent my information in, just want you to know this is who I am, want to connect everything together. And I immediately went to the chat and I was like, I don't know, but there's something about this person. All of the people who follow up in multiple ways have been phenomenal. So cut to Jodie coming and joining us last year. This is before we actually went to the park. So and we just, and her setup was amazing. The energy that she
that was my first market too. That's the thing. Like, it called me. I was called to do
We
that
didn't
shit.
even
And
know.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know until I showed up and I was like, oh shit. I had an idea,
Yo,
but
we
I
didn't
didn't know.
even know that Jodie was gonna show up the way that she did. But again, that first impression was the messages back and forth. Okay, she's locked in. And then we were doing these just quick conversations with the business owners on
It was
Instagram
the live.
Live. And
the live.
Jodie popped on the live and just, I have a lot of energy. You guys are hearing me. You guys maybe have seen my other content. I have a lot of energy. But Jodie just brought it, was talking about her business, walked us through, showed us product. And I'm sitting there on the other side of this. Because again, the process for No Hope BMBE is anyone can apply. And I go and usually would look at Instagrams and do all these things. And then we would curate month to month. And so I didn't know Jodie, but the energy on the live and then the energy the day of, oh my, it's so
punks.
Now,
but you know what?
Jodie is one of my favorite people ever.
You know what though? Someone very, very near and dear to my heart, just I added, I recently told her how her energy affected me, right? And what she told me is, I'm just picking up what you're putting down. That's all it is, right? And that's a thing. And that's exactly how I feel, right? So I was just picking up how serious you were about your shit and how passionate you were about, BMBE, like how we were doing it. I'm from NoHo. So you know what I mean? Like for me to be able to be here in my home, to be able to, put all my past experience into myself when I was always giving it away to other people, to be able to show up for myself in a very lit way, in a very you know what, you're like, I'm here, but and knowing that without ego, without being an asshole about it, but really stepping into it and being like, bitch, this is about me right now. This is not about, it was, I think it was a conduit for me to really to connect with Black people and people of color in the way that I've been wanting to, and formulating community. From that day, I have so many connections and loved ones like Brooke from Rich Magic and just all these people, even all the Black girls that were in the tent for the park event. We're all, man, it's, you're creating things and it's a web, right? It makes a ripple. So that, I'm telling you, that one vibe, so that mutual reciprocal vibe, it just reverberated and created so much more alignment for so many other people and things and connections to happen and for people to see what we're doing. And then people have messaged me I can't believe you're doing such beautiful things. And I was like, even for Melanin Body Soul, because before those events with you, it was I had the packaging, I had the website, I had all the things, but it's real now. It's real. Tangibility is different than concept. It's really different. And then once we talk about the zendan, even that, it's everything is aligned, everything is connected. Interconnectivity is 222, every down to the motherfucking numbers. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yo, you really killing me right now too with all of this.
I'm telling you,
I didn't even really
I see past the matrix, man. I see that we're all, everybody has a purpose.
Are really gonna break into, oh my God. So
I can't wait. I've been thinking about this shit all week. Since you texted me, let's get into
Jodie
it.
is so tight with it too. Y'all don't understand. We are going to talk about that front group at the event, because you also did some things that I don't know if you did it on purpose or inadvertently, but we're gonna talk about all of it, guys. This is Jodie Smith,
Magic Melanin Mama,
Melanin Mama, the owner of Zendan, the owner of Melanin Body Soul, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and break into some of these questions we're already tapping on. And you kind of hit on this, but how would you describe your work? I can obviously, I'm really happy you said you delineated the roles that you play, right? I'm like this, I do this thing, I do this thing. And you delineate that differently from purpose. And so I'm interested in how you would describe your work.
Yeah, to start off, I feel like I have two lives, right? So when you say, how would you describe your work? The work that I do, and the work that I previously used to do in my past life, as I call it. Starting off, I used to be into corporate product development. I used to launch really big names. I used to help, do product development for all these different celebrities who have these kits and lip kits and shit now. But and that's it. It was a whole career within itself in product development, business development, and just really getting to some heights and learning stuff. But at that point, I was previously married. I was super young. I got all that stuff really, really young, and so I threw myself into those roles, and those roles made me. So I was in like, when I say in the Matrix, and like we just watched all the Matrix, and so that's why I'm like, it's here, right? But like I used to be in that matrix of like in a life that was happening to me that I wasn't necessarily living, right? So fast forward past, jumping off that corporate ladder, no parachute, landing into yoga that led me into my divorce, that led me into the beginning of my life, right? Honestly, of my authentic life, like leading. That's why now when people say like, the work you do, like right now I don't do work. I can work on things, but I don't like, I work but I don't work, if you know what I'm saying. I have a passion, and I play, and I flow, and I do things as they're called to me. Like I'm not about, and even when they are called at any moment, I'm the key master. So if I decide, no, I'm gonna shut this motherfucker down, guess what? It's like, too bad, baby. Like it's to have that control of my own life. I'm not working. I'm flowing, and I own it. I own it. I feel when it's work, it's work. But if you can own it, it's not work. It may be stressful at times. It may be like, I made $10,000 that month, or I made $3 today, like and like that's the stress of an entrepreneur. So like work. I work on things. So when I describe my work is being in flow. My work is letting things come to me as they are called. And it's scary. So I'm developing that, and I've been developing that over the past, 10 years of my life, 15 years of my life. And so every day it's me just stepping onto the path, and like the work comes, right?
That's so crazy.
It's insane. And people think I'm crazy until they see what happens to me. And for me, in the thick of it, I'm like, fuck, like, oh my God, I'm fucked. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, until like the path is unveiled when I let go, right? And it's hard. I live in that because every single time when I've held on and tried to hold on, it's always been bad. But when I let go and I don't give a fuck, and I let people fall by the wayside, or I let habits fall by the wayside, or I have the realization, shit starts. And don't get me wrong, I'm flawed, so I'm still holding on to a lot of shit that if I just let go, I could be a millionaire tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like that. It's like that. It's literally that. It's red pill, blue pill. What are we doing? Are we making the good choices? Are we doing what we're supposed to do? That's why for me, work is not work, because before I used to work, and that was prison. You know what I mean? Like now work is not, my whole concept of work is not, I play, I flow, I live my fucking life, and I let things come to me. When I need to work, I can flip that shit on real quick, and I can be corporate badass, but anytime, any day of the week, but I choose not to. So yeah, that's how I would describe my work.
Oh man, yo, you just
in a nutshell, I guess.
So many things, yo. You just said so many things.
I've been thinking, man. I've been doing work.
I'm like receive
it. Me too. And like when I speak, I feel like I'm a highly spiritual person. And like when I speak, I feel sometimes like I get tapped in and I'm not even speaking anymore. You know what I mean? Like the message is the message is the message, whether it's for me or for someone else. Because I'm listening when I'm talking too, because I have to, or else I'm not practicing when I preach.
Because it has to be. And let me also, because you guys know, listeners, if you listen to the podcast, we gotta unpack it, and I'm gonna unpack it. I'm gonna try not to take too long.
Please,
so I will talk.
Please take
as
long as you need to.
But first of all, I love ownership. I love ownership. And it's not just because obviously we're both entrepreneurs. So the idea of, control versus ownership is very important.
And we own our time.
In our space.
Let me put it that way. Let me put the price there. It's the time that we own.
I was about to say, like, the ownership of time, of choice, of affect, of saying no. because I pretty much did all of last year just strictly off of justCARR, just business, like just me
Yep.
doing my thing. So this year I'm finding, well, it's the work, or like the business is viable, the work is possible. Like, so now I'm like, well, I think I need to balance. So I'm like trying to find, maybe
You
like a
reimagine it,
part-time to do some things, like, also reworking. But I'm like,
right.
damn, how cool is it that I'm at that place now where I have
You can make that
the
decision.
ownership of my decision, my time,
Absolutely.
to say, okay, well, I'm cool chopping off maybe like 20 hours a week, 25 hours a week,
right.
as long
right.
as I can still do these things. Like, and that's not something, I'm gonna be 30 in a couple of months. Like, I wouldn't have even, okay,
30 club, 30 days.
Look.
And like, you know what? We're all going through
it.
this solar return thing. All those lessons are coming up, but we're making a choice. Before we avoided it and things happened to us, and now we're making a choice, and it's scary because we're showing up for ourselves and for other people, and it's a big responsibility. And it's like, can we, like, there's a reason why we're doing this. There's a reason why we're called and at this time. So like the 30 portal is a portal.
It is.
Most people fear 30, right? And like I've had several conversations, over the months, and it's like to the point where it's weird.
30 portal,
most people fear it. Like when you think about how many Americans fear 30, they think once you hit 30, you start aging like a piece of fruit. You die. Like, no, like your life is what you make it. If you decide that you're done at 30 and you can't have anything else after 30, then you never will. For me, life doesn't start until 30. Like, I'm excited because I had all this time to figure this bullshit that I'm doing out. Right? Like, why do I keep doing the same stupid shit?
Yeah.
Like, and so like there's a reason why you're going through it. That's why we live. That's why people 1992. Yeah, it's a spiritual year. Sorry. And like everybody knows it. Yeah. That's why it's referenced in so many songs. Back to the point though.
No, and it's just, again, like, there's just, guys, listeners, there's just certain conversations that just need to be had. And this is one of them. And I will also say too, I will co-sign you being connected. And we're going to talk about that connection too. Because I think that I'm going to tell this story, and then I'm going to tell my theory, and then that'll maybe open some things up.
Oh, the theory about me?
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear.
When I first met Jodie, she, like in person, obviously she came, we're doing the event. And the way Fusion Force is set up, we're kind of off like at the front desk, and our businesses are set up in all these different rooms. And I'm a very open and approachable person, but when I'm in business mode, I shift from the personality I think other people expect me to have, and so people don't typically approach me. I am in goal mode.
You have to be.
But Jodie came out of she was walking and had been walking the entire day, making connections with other businesses, pulling people around in different rooms. It was really amazing to watch. But Jodie comes to the front, where myself and Will, who is my other like brain partner for BNBE, and we're just like planning, I just taking notes. Today. Yo, Will is the guy.
I talked to him about the Matrix today. Oh shit. Okay, that's crazy. I'm done. Whatever.
Yo, and it's all coming together. And Jodie just she's says something to the effect of, I just want you to know that this is amazing. I know that you have other things that you want to see from this. I know you want to scale it. I know you want it to run smoothly. I know you want to control everything, but just take a second and look at what you have done. This is amazing. Look who you're connecting. She's pretty much was like, I feel you. I see you. I know you have doubts. She's like, but whatever you think is going to happen is going to happen if you let it happen and just chill the fuck out. And again, I had not met this. I mean, we spoke on Instagram Live. I knew I liked her, but I didn't know Jodie. And I'm running this event. She's a business owner who's coming and setting up and like vending and doing all these everything, making connections. And you spoke literally about the conversation that Will and I were having. And it's not like Jodie was hanging behind the wall, guys, like listening. Like, she came out her room and was just like, I just wanted to say this, and then walked away.
Right.
And Will was laughing at me for like 5 minutes, because I was just sitting there like, he was like, you good, bro? I was like, my guy, like, She just said everything, because I was
Everything.
literally saying, bro, we're looking good. This is a new year, but how do we do more for the vendors? I was like, this space is not enough. I'm like, people need to see everything. I'm like, that's going to bring it together. We were literally going over these notes, and Jodie
Oh
comes
my
and
God.
says, chill. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
And
exactly what I needed to hear in that like
right, with no context.
With no context. So my theory,
vibes, man.
And that's my theory, is you really are magical. And I don't mean to say that like in like a jokey way, like,
but it's like,
but
yes,
the magic melanin mama, I was like really looking at that, and I was like, I really think Jodie has, because, and not to give it away, because we're going to talk about the entirety of it, but you called the BNBE, you called the yoga studio. I'm not going to talk about the entire conversation, but you said if it's not going to happen right now, then I will do it on my own, where I don't have to ask anyone for permission.
That's crazy.
We talked about this, Jodie. We talked about this. Okay. So,
you see that?
And you talked to me prior to June, when I was worried about being outdoors and everything. Like, whatever you can see in your brain, like clarify that. That's gonna be what it's. That's gonna be what it is.
Intention.
Oh my God! And it was so. I was literally reading this journal entry from the day after, and I was like, I was really terrified.
My son, just so you know.
No problem. I was really terrified of that first month, but it was exactly like I saw it in my head. And once I reminded myself that I can create that and that it was enough, I was like, oh my goodness. So I really think you actually have the power. You are really literally like tapped in and connected, because you called it for your life, for my life.
You know what? I'm happy you say that, because sometimes he's so cute. He's super excited to see people on the phone. And if you guys don't know, this is my son Marley. So this is what comes with the magic melanin mama part. The mama part is very real, and I knew this was going to happen. And usually he sleeps for hours on end, and right now he's not. But you know, I think my entire life. Yes, my love. Hold on 1 second, because I'm going to keep talking to you guys.
No problem. Do your thing.
So, as far as the magic melanin mama goes, I truly feel that my collective experiences. I think he wants to talk to you, actually. Sorry. That's what it was. So my collective experiences have challenged me. I've been challenged, you know, from very, very early on to each, you know, the typical Black mother trauma that passed on to the daughter, that passes on to, you know, even my sister. It's no coincidence that we're all Black females, and even at this moment, we're all like in our own corners of life, like kind of just doing us, right? And it's honestly, I think the magic part of it is choosing to break the generational curses and trauma. Like, you know what I mean? If you want to talk about motivation and ammo to do anything, right?
Yeah.
I truly feel like just those things have tested me, and I've risen to the occasion. And because of that, I've unlocked certain lessons in life. And the choices you make, like the magic is the choices that you make, the intention you choose to put into something, right? You know, I call myself a witch all the time, because I'm in them herbs and I'm doing all the things, but I'm creating medicine, and I'm creating healing things, and those things have gotten me to where I'm at right now. So how can that not be magic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's so many layers to it. Even what I do, I recently found out like my ancestors did this, like my grandma did this, my like, and I'm just finding it out before I turn 30. So I'm like, it's just the magic, the melanin, the mama. They're all aspects of who I have been, who I am, who I'm going to be. Like even today, I posted something about all the versions of me. You know what I mean? And magic melanin mama, like that encapsulates everything. Like even as a kid, I'd be playing in the sticks and the herbs, and I was, you know, like and to be, again, I don't work, I'm playing right now, because I'm able to do exactly what I saw myself doing, like the vision, the vision when I was a certain age, not wanting to live a certain life, you know what I mean? Right now, working to get a house, like these are all things that as a child I wanted. And so now that's like, it's so many layers, Carr, but the Magic Mountain Mama, it is to my core who I am and who I am still becoming. And I didn't know it until I changed my Instagram. You know what I mean? Sometimes all you need is a vibe, and I'm good with the titles and the names. Like, again, I used to be in product development, and all it is catchy names and copy, and I just happen to know how to build websites and do all this shit too. Like, but to my core, Magic Mountain Mama is like, it's crazy to think about it, that it was just an Instagram name, but it really, once I became a mom, it really like, oh, there it is,
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's crazy.
Yeah, the magic is
magic.
in
It's
choosing
legit.
to break those curses. It's in choice.
Yes,
I really like
choice.
that magic is in choice. Like, that's like,
yeah.
So let me ask you like a kind of a tangential question.
Absolutely.
How do you like clarify your intention or your manifestation, because I know for me, and you said it earlier too, it really hit me in that there are certain things that are happening in our brains that'll limit what we're able to manifest or create, sometimes without us even knowing it. And Beast was talking about it on the last podcast as well. He was talking about it with Crump. When you're in the lab, sometimes if you're not clear in your brain, you're creating something, but somewhere is saying, oh, that's not good enough, or that's not cool enough, or that's like, and so you never get to break through that. And I do experience myself having to unpack certain areas or clear out the clutter. So I guess, the question is like, how do you clear that clutter? How do you clarify your intention? Because you seem to have it together.
You know what? The funny thing is like, I don't. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people, I always tell people, and I try to be on my stories. Like, I post a lot of shit on my feed, but on my stories, I'm real as fuck. And it's, people don't have to have it together to start doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, my house is usually a mess. Like, it's beautiful, but usually it's a mess because I have a freaking 1-year-old. You know what I mean? Or just, I don't have it together. But just when I clarify the things I want to do, when I feel great and when I feel good doing the thing, I try to vibe off of that energy, and I crave that energy. So when I go into a project, or when I go into something that I really want, that good feeling, I'm almost like magnetized to it. Once I start telling myself, like, or if I'm doing yoga, like, shit, let's start with that. Okay. So yoga, having a baby changes every single thing about your body, mind, and soul and spirit. Okay. Being pregnant, I felt beautiful, amazing. I was still doing yoga. You know what I mean? Natural birth, all the things, right? However, after having a child, immediately after, I couldn't do yoga. And mentally, months and months and months after, I could not do yoga. Something in the back of my mind told me I'm no longer a yoga teacher. Like, literally that exact phrase. I'm no longer a yoga teacher. I look stupid doing yoga. Even, and like, don't get me wrong. Before, I have to say I am an amazing yoga teacher because of yoga pulling me through the lessons of my life that it has, and how I've responded to it rather than reacted to it, right? Of going with that flow. But after having Marley, something about it, something in my brain, and like, it's a hormonal thing, because like, the influx and rush out of hormones is crazy, and it literally affects your brain. You know what I mean? And I had not severe, but I had postpartum depression pretty bad, and it manifested in me being more angry than anything. But I couldn't go to my one thing that had always pulled me through these dark times. right? Even meditating, that meant looking in the mirror of my own spirit. And like, it was so foreign than what I've ever experienced of myself. Like even through my darkest times and, you know, not trigger warning, like when I was younger, I used to be very, very volatile and, you know, really not want to be here, you know, like going through that whole puberty thing. It's constantly, I would have, you know, something to pull me out of that darkness. And now being able to manage it, you know, or seemingly being able to manage it before getting pregnant, once I hit it again, it looked so different. And it wasn't me being a crying mess. It was me being more angry and I couldn't do yoga. Something in my mind blocked me from doing yoga. And I kid you not, it happened until one day, I don't know what it was, but one day it was just like, get up. And like to the point where I put the money down for, you know, for that unlimited hot yoga membership that costs way too much money. I put the yoga down or the money down every month. And I was up at 6 a.m. every single morning. Marley was still at the age where he could just sleep and he could, you know, something I had to convince myself to show up in a real way. Not like I couldn't do it here at the house. I couldn't be in the same place where I was just like, you know, like stressed out about being a mom and figuring out how to transition the old me from the new me and all these things. There's so many layers, but even for me physically, it was hard, right?
Yeah.
But the intention there was, well, what the fuck do you want to do? You know what I mean? What do you want to do? And how do you want to get there? Because you're not going to get there by just sitting here and laying down and doing all these things that are not good for you. But like the work is in the work. Like you have to do the work to get to where you want to go. And so the motivation was, I don't want to be here 6 months from now. You know what I mean? I don't want to be here next week. I have to do something different.
Yeah.
Right. So just the motivation of being in a different place. I don't want to look back and ever be like, damn, I had all that time and I didn't do it. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like getting to where I am now, where I'm teaching again, like I'm teaching human beings again. You know what I mean? Like, cause I didn't do the virtual thing. That ain't me. I can't do the virtual yoga thing. I connect with people. I don't have to touch them, but I have to be in their energy. I have to be in their space. It has to happen. So now the motivation of getting up and like, even after that, you know, streak of doing hot yoga, I had to stop because like I was forcing myself to do it and it was for the wrong reasons. Right. So like even then you may feel like you're doing some shit, but you may be pushing yourself to what you think it is, but it's for the wrong reasons. My body looks great. Shit. I even have a TikTok or I have a reel that like got 15,000 views because my body looked great. But like at that time, even though the reel looked great and it looked like I was so happy, I was going through it emotionally. And I was skinny and I looked great and I fell off because it wasn't real, right? So now that I'm rebuilding my mind before my body is following suit, but I'm also in a place where I'm confident and I'm teaching people and I'm tapping into the same source that I was at before when I was teaching people. It wasn't out of ego and out of trying to get my body in a certain place. It was because I needed to teach yoga and yoga is not physical. Yoga is mental and yoga is everything but the physical. The physical is a very small part of it. So now that I had to even have the tangibility of a studio to even make it feel even more real. You know, like now it feels real. Now I'm healing people, not just touching people when I come across them. Now I am intentionally healing people, which is crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
And it sounds like healing and providing that is like your calling, and it seems like that's what you're called to do. And
it's in so many different ways. It's not even it's like so multifaceted. You know, people used to say like, oh, like I'm a jack of all trades because I would do so many different things, right? And it wasn't until this year, again, right before I turned 30, I heard the rest of what that sentence is. It's like the original quote was like a jack of all trades and like a master of none. But when I heard like on something online, I heard the rest of that, you know, that quote, and it was like basically to the effect of, but it's better than being a master of one. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because like I can roll everything up into me and I can offer it all in the way that I choose. You know what I mean? Like
here's choice again.
here's choice. I can choose to heal your body. I can choose to heal your spirit. You know, I can choose to give you medicine that's going to make you actually physically heal. You know what I mean? I can give you words, and I can heal your mind. Like, there's so many ways that I'm able to heal. And and now I can do it on a bigger scale. Like, I see the vision. I see how we get there. And it's just crazy, because even the way I got the studio, shit, not me. Universe.
Yo.
That shit fell into when I tell you it fell into my lap like a fucking elephant. Like the elephant in the room fell on my lap.
And I do need to, and we need to hear that story too. I mean, we all need to, but real quick before we get there, if healing is your calling, did you ever experience any resistance to that calling, or did you always feel like that's where you were supposed to be?
I think I didn't know. Like, when I was younger and doing like the corporate stuff, I think because I was so good at it, I was great. It came easy to me, right? It came very easy to me, right? But now, like, I don't even know. Tell me the question again, because it's like,
no, it's
say it again.
We talked about your calling, is healing. Did you ever have any resistance to that, or was that always something that you felt that you got it?
To answer.
Yeah,
it's so hard to answer because of like my consciousness at different points in my life, like, fluctuates. So as a young kid, yes, I felt like, again, playing in the herbs and playing in, like, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna be a witch and gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But then when I got older, and maybe it's because that's when I stepped into the matrix, right? I think I completely lost it. Like, when I tell you, I didn't realize as a child what that was, that it was the calling. I thought it was just me being a kid. And then once I became an adult, I'm like, oh, I'm an adult now.
Boop, 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 and now I gotta be an adult and do all these adult things.
Yeah. And so I think I completely lost consciousness of it. Cause, like, again, I think it was a realization recently that the calling, like, just, oh shit, like, knowing what it was. I think that was recent. I think that was in like the last 2 years. Right.
That's tight.
But even as I grew out of all of that stuff, I think it took a long time, because I had created this life for myself that was, like, so out of alignment that I didn't really even know that I wasn't in the life I was supposed to be in. You know what I mean? So even then, but it's hard to say, because even at that time, I was doing all the things I know how to do now, like all the skills that I acquired in that unconscious phase of my life, all apply now too. So it's fucking hard to answer. Like, that, the calling question, it's like trying to remember, like, damn, when did they leave me that voicemail? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're never aware of it in the moment, and it's like, and I think I won't even be aware of that. I won't even be able to answer that question until I'm, like, old and gray. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think it's so ever evolving.
That's
like,
a good answer.
Yeah, that question, like, I didn't think that question was gonna stump me as much as it did.
Sorry.
But, like, because it's like almost saying, like, when did you hear the angels for the first time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like,
that's well.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Sheesh.
That's crazy. Okay. Sheesh. Ooh. Yeah, like, that was a unexpected heavy hitter. Okay.
No, I love that. Also, just for the listeners, I wanna just highlight a couple things that we're talking about here, because we are gonna talk about the zendan. I need to hear about it. Again, guys, magic is in the choice. You said specifically in, like, choosing to break the curses, and also in, like, making a specific choice with your intuition. This is what I want. This is and then also letting go. I think that maybe there is a choice to let go as well. Maybe
Absolutely.
That's like in the choosing of it.
And it's the fear. And I think clarifying that, even, it's letting go of the fear. And that's the hardest part. You know what I mean? I think the fear part, because I get like, my fear of failure is very high. You know what I mean? It's high, because I feel like the more I show up for myself, like, the harder I'm gonna fall, right?
Yes.
Or, like, always thinking the other shoe is gonna drop, or, like, that imposter syndrome. And, like, but, like, breathing through it, and, like, just taking it day by day, and like, sometimes I'm not gonna answer that email or whatever it is, but again, it's all in choices. So if I choose to have a lazy day, it's gonna be a lazy day, But if I choose to do it and not be afraid of the fear of failure and like show up regardless of that fear of failure, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. It's just to clarify that one.
No, that's
I had to clarify that.
That's actually so good, because I was going to touch on that, like what does that actually look like, but that's perfect. Which takes me to you saying the work is in the work. I really like that as well. It is about showing up, and that's something I'm learning for myself too, especially the idea of like lazy days, or I'm pretty meticulous and organized. I have like the same routine, and it keeps me together, but there are just certain days where I wake up and I can just tell that I need to just flow with however I'm feeling and just whatever, and just let go, choose to let go, not let go of the fear of, oh, I'm not being productive enough. I'm not all these other things.
For who?
For who? For what?
For who?
Yeah. That's, and then also being magnetized towards the things that make you feel good, like really tapping in, being aware of those feelings, and seeking those things out, allowing yourself to be drawn in that way. I think that was,
once you feel it, you start getting addicted to that feeling of, not only is it a good feeling, but it's also good for me and other people. Like it's that alignment. Once you get on a track, once a train is on the track, that train's unstoppable until it hits an obstacle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but even then, you can still put the train back on the track.
That's
you
true.
know what I mean? And the obstacle could be a pebble. You know what I mean?
You never. Man.
But like again, I say these things, but that's because they're lessons that I'm still applying to my life. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people sometimes, and I love the praise, it's amazing, but like I try to make sure people know that I'm really real when it comes to all this stuff. This is stuff that I'm going through. You know what I mean? These are lessons that I say it as I feel it, and because I'm in it, or because I'm vibing with the moon and the stars, and it's nothing is a coincidence, right? So if I can speak on it because I feel it and I can translate, I feel like I can translate the universe sometimes. If I can help someone else, then it helps. It helps. Like it helps me to heal people. It's amazing. I love it.
And real quick, the next question after this will be zendan, because we need to get it. But we were talking earlier about Brooke Boyd and Mia and that whole group of amazing women in that little corner that month. And it's so crazy that you say that phrase, because that's how Brooke Boyd, who is the owner of Rich Magic, who makes amazing products, guys, gonna heal you up.
Oils.
Oh my
God. I have them. I got the oils.
Y'all gotta get with Rich Magic. Look, she says that all the time. She's like, well, the things that I create for healing, the bath bombs and the crystals and the necklaces and the oils and all these things, she's like, these are things that help me in my healing, and they felt authentic. And so the only choice I had was to put it out. And I still on days where I'm unsure of my own work, that's one of the memories that I hold in my head, is us wrapping up. And that was a month we had a lot of women entrepreneurs that month as well. We didn't know until we did looked at it later, but I think it was maybe only two.
It was like a taco spot, and then chef.
And then bro, he was doing. So it was just 2 out of 16 vendors that were, and so 14 women. And then I'm
actually using Lucy's cup right now.
Yo, talk about it, Lucy Rosa, yo. I have the Be Actual Natural in the hair right now. It's not a game, guys. Yo.
I got my locks now. I got my locks.
Okay.
Last video it was curly titty. Now it's locks, baby.
Look,
4 months in.
I was gassed because I was looking at and so I had to go look at photos. I'm getting ready for the podcast, and I was like, oh my goodness, this group of women entrepreneurs, between you and Brittany Bell and Brooke Boyd and Mia, I was like, and DJ and I were laughing. I was like, this is the cover of Forbes. This is Black women,
healing.
Healing it was, and so it's just, and so for you to say that also too made me think of Brooke Boyd, made me think of that whole situation. And again, on days where I'm kind of uncertain, I do pull that memory out of my head, and I remember that like there is so much synchronicity in things.
Absolutely, that's the word. Yes.
And you guys are some of my favorite people. I love all of the businesses that I work with.
Likewise.
I don't have any issues with anyone, but you guys,
we're a vibe.
you especially, Brittany Bell, especially Mia.
Oh man, I love.
It's a whole different vibe, a whole different energy, and it's just I'm just so very like blessed and honored to create those connections. And so when you were
made
like,
that space. And it wasn't, that's the crazy thing. It was on my second round. And like, you know, I had seen other Black women. And so the first one I was like, oh, maybe like they're not here this month. But then they even like Jasleen, like people that I've seen just in the sphere of this community that we have, you know, he's dancing. Baby, can you relax? Go sit down. Thank you. Go play basketball. Go sit down. But like, you know, this community that you've created is, you know, because even in our individual selves, we've all blossomed. So even since we started doing the events, like we've all grown so much. And so now to like all be intertwined, like we were even saying like, you know what, we could run some retreats. Like we've been thinking, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So like, it's like we're creating the circulation of the Black dollar, and you know, and that'll be the segue into the zendan, because like the circulation of the Black dollar, what we're doing and creating businesses together, and you know, the way I'm raising my son, and we're all trying to be holistic and natural, and it's the way that Cheetah's raising her child, like it's just like it's just amazing, you know. And like the circulation of the Black dollar, or at least the Black supply chain, that's what people don't understand. It's not just people buying shit. It's not just regular people buying shit. It's supply chain. We have to circulate Black supply chain. And I come from like product development. I come from manufacturing and supply chain. That's where I got all my product development shit, and why I can slap labels and boop, 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 boop in my house and make it like that. My shit is professional because I have the experience. But the Black supply chain, when I tell you, in the manufacturing gig, things that they have to do with everything. There are no Black manufacturer. You know what I mean? Like, so to be able to even like talk about like generational wealth, like that's what I'm trying to do later on. I want to manufacture. You know what I mean? I want to, okay, but look, I want a manufacturing plant. I want to make things. You know what I mean? I want the system to depend on me. You know what I mean? It's important. So like, yeah, it's important. It's really important, because right now, the way, even like, look at the way the government is right now. Like it's scary. And like, you know what I mean? Even if it's I'm manufacturing, you know, herbs and shit, because everybody got a different type of COVID in 10 years, and it's like, oh, the only herb that does it is one herb. Like it's, you know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So like, that's why it's important to us to come here. Yeah, I'm giving him cookies right now. It's cookie time. You know what I mean? But they're organic cookies, you know what I mean? Even that, like feeding my kids and, you know, different good things, like it's important. Yeah, you sit down here.
I will just real quick talk about Black supply chain.
Please.
Because I just would like to also make the point that it didn't happen until the last event, the fall festival, when I kind of connected in my brain, but I was like, oh yeah, this is really like, this might have been the beginnings of Black Wall Street. This might have been the beginnings of like Durham and Tulsa and these places. And so I think just your point about Black supply chain and being able to network and leverage. We talked about leverage a lot in the last episode, but leverage your skills with each other to work together. When you said, yeah, we could run a retreat, like, you know, now those are the things that I'm thinking about now. I'm like, well, we can really create everything,
because you can hype it up. It's and we think, again, Carr, sometimes we don't understand how big of a part we play in life. And you know, for you may be looking at others who have done it in their way, but you don't understand that people are also looking at you doing it in this way, and people are looking at us and me doing it in our own way. May not make sense to them at the moment, but like, you know, even to just create the space, you know, we all have our businesses and our businesses help one another. We've already done it.
Yeah.
And it's, again, it's the scale, yes, but like it has to be organic, right?
Yeah.
Going back to that original conversation that I was having with you at the first event that I did, you know, the scale up is real because you never stop scaling. You know what I mean? There's never a point where you know, scaling is in real time. So like sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but to scale, and like I said, scale up, manufacturing, like all the things connect. Scale up happens in real time. You don't see the peak until you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
I'm up here now.
And like sometimes when you're mid-range, you don't see how far you've come, but there's it's an incline, you know?
I love that.
Yeah. So like we're doing it, and it's that's why I say like it's not even your responsibility. The universe is already taking care of what it's supposed to. The more you try to do it, the more you're not letting the universe have its space to carry you there, right? The work smarter, not harder. That to me, that's a spiritual term. Like you can either, you know, try to be the, you know, passenger seat driver, or you can be like, you got it, you know, and just like experience everything and take the good and the bad and the bad and the good, you know.
You wildin'. You are really getting it into it. So so we're talking Black business. We're talking supply.
Yes.
I'm really interested in how you made the zendan happen in less than a year. You called it, and it was less than a fucking year.
But like it wasn't even like when I tell you, oh my fucking God, because it gives me chills thinking about how I have it right now. When I tell you it was the universe. This was not me. It was the universe. Okay. So, oh man, where do I even fucking begin? So back to the beginning, right? Before my fiance and I were even like, we were still talking kind of. He was an AAU basketball coach for Pasadena Elite. They're an amazing group run by one of our friends, Brian Childs. So, you know, we've grown as a family now. We've been together for years. I was hired on as a wellness director for the AAU, and I was a yoga teacher for the boys. So pre-basketball games, during basketball games, I was there helping out, stretching. Awesome. Fast forward, Horace, a good friend, also was a basketball teacher there. He has a basketball gym in the Valley called the District. It's an amazing basketball gym. It's actually right next to my cousin's basketball gym, which is VEB, Valentine Elite Basketball. So even that, I didn't even know that was a thing until like we had been in business already and whatever.
That's wild.
So, right. Fast forward a couple months. They told me they know who I am, they know what I do, they know my experience. They said, you know, we want to create a gym. Like we want to do this amazing idea. I can't go into it because it's still proprietary and it's so dope.
I get it.
But you know, but fast forward even more. Okay, anyway, we're having development meetings for this space. Put it back. We're having development meetings about this space, and we're just, you know, whatever. We're in Pasadena. We're like, what's a good place we can meet up? I was like, I need Wi-Fi and some food. Like, and so we would meet up. Of course, we're like, I know where we can go. We're gonna go to My Place Cafe. It's in Pasadena. It's a really dope cafe owned by a Black woman named Miss LaTanya Smith. And we were meeting there every single day. And let's sit down. So as we were meeting there, we were trying to develop this plan. And with COVID, we were trying to pivot. Again, it was like still was it 2020? It was like early 2021. We were talking about it 2020, early 2021 happened. So whatever. We're meeting at this cafe. And for me, I'm like, oh, snap. I remember when I was still fresh pregnant with Marley. And I was like in the thing, like I only had a week of like morning sickness. I'd have to go before we would go to the basketball gym. I'd have to go there and get like, or not there, but like the Mexican restaurant. I had to go get like a taco or something, right? And that's like kind of across the way from it. And I'd always look up at the second floor balcony and I'd be like, I wonder what's up there. Cause like my mind as a yoga teacher being bored in COVID, I was like, okay, whenever I teach yoga again, like I would look upstairs and it had like a really nice balcony. And so that was like, that was whatever. I was pregnant like back then.
Didn't
What the
even think
hell?
about it. Oh my
Didn't even
goodness.
think about it. I was like, but like I would think about it, but not, right? And so my friend Horace was curious one day because like we were trying to really get this idea off the ground, but he's known her and he was like, "Hey, I'm really curious what's upstairs." You know what I mean? And so one day I had asked him, I was like, "Yeah, can you just check that out?" And like that was like, that was like a whatever plan. It wasn't even a plan. It was just like in talking. We were just getting coffee before we had our meeting. And so fast forward like 3 years, right? We're doing this whole planning last year. And at like November of last year, I get a text like, I forgot what it said, but it was just like, I have a business proposition for me. You ready? And I was like, maybe. And so, so once I said yes, he basically told me that the he showed me the space. Or no, first he told me, he's like, there's an opportunity for you to have your own space, completely yours. Like it's whatever you want to call it, it's your brand. Like we're not, since we're this whole other idea, we pivoted and we're in a much lucrative position now, but it's a different thing. He's like, I think this could work for you, right? And I was like, bet, okay, awesome, right? Then he tells me like the pricing that I'm gonna have to pay for it. And I was like what? Like, and when I tell you, like, it's just like the universe, like in a stupid way. Like it's like the universe is like, are you going to take this? Start here. Like it was in my lap,
Wow.
and so I hadn't even seen the space at this time. I was just happy to have a space. But then I got to the space and Carr, like, Miss Latanya in her right, she's a Black woman and she owns this cafe. So to be number one, a Black woman yoga studio, over a Black woman owned cafe was its whole thing. But she is an energy within herself. Like she is a spiritual energy within herself. And when I saw it, like wide open, beautiful wood space with fucking double doors looking at the mountains, like it was like the stairs leading up to it, she has light, like she's just an angel, right? And so just to have this was very scary to say yes to, but I couldn't say no,
Yeah.
but the way that it happened was, first of all, through all Black means, even to before this was through the love that I'm married or about to marry now. Had we not been together, this not would have it wouldn't have even happened. It might have happened in a different way, but like even down to Black love, right? The Black love that started this, that got me pregnant before I was even thinking, like it's just like a whole, like the matrix is real, and it's like all these like realities collapsing on themselves to lead me. It's almost like I in having my first divorce and understanding what I had to sacrifice in my old life, I couldn't be that way anymore. It like, I feel like in the moments it's felt like forever, but it almost felt like a loophole or like a black hole that like collapsed reality. And I was like, boop, here we are. Right. And now I'm like, oh shit, like, like we went into hyperdrive, and now I'm finally like, oh, okay. And now I have a studio. I'm also teaching at the YMCA. I'm able to teach kids again the way I want to. Like I'm my son is doing yoga, and now he's going viral, which is like, what the hell? Like it's just, but for that reason, like to now have because even online, I didn't want to have a certain personality. I don't want to just be an online influencer. I don't want to be on there without, being who I am. I don't want to just post pictures because it looks cool and it'll be viral. Like I posted that because I'm just like, man, like this is a moment, and reels is a thing that I'm trying to figure out. I'm doing quite well now, but like, and it's because it's advertising, and like for me, I used to do marketing. Like it's starting to all click, and it was so hard for me, even in 2020 and 2021, it was so hard for me to wrap my head around showing up like personally like this. Like it was so hard for me to do that because I'm like, I don't even know who I am right now because I'm not doing yoga. I'm in it. I'm a mom. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, and every day you're figuring out what it means to be a mom. Like, and being able to just let him chill and like he's like, and to be doing different than my mom did, right? And to be healing actively and to be acknowledging the shit that I need to change, and knowing like if I'm too stern, or if I'm doing things different, and again, that scale up, I didn't see it coming, and now I'm not at the top by any means, but I think I'm past that plateau.
I love that.
Where it's that plateau of a lesson, like, you know, like hashtag lessons in ascension is what's my new hashtag. I don't know what we're about to do, but shit, we about to. I want to be a part of it. I don't know, lessons in ascension.
Yo,
maybe it's a
whatever
book, maybe
it is, you know, I'm with
maybe
it.
it's a thing. Yeah, but it's just, you know, I think I've lived a lot of life because I thought about this shit today and it was a download. But I feel like I've lived a lot of hard life because I was able to rock with it, and at a very early age even kind of understand what's not mine, right? Understand what's not mine to carry, understand what, being able to almost like have an out of body experience when I'm experiencing shit and be like, I see you, like keep going, like you're fine. You know, like that higher self and current self coming into alignment.
You're different. You are so different.
And you know what I said? That shit. Okay, so
you did say
so today my Instagram post, it was like aligned. It was, I forgot what I said, but it was like, you know, basically like the old me and the new me, you know, or the old me is not the new me, and the new me will not be the future me, you know, but all versions of me, like it was just, you gotta, I forgot what it was, but once it's just crazy because I feel like, again, all versions of me are converging right now, and all my lessons, you know, I have more to learn, but I feel like right now, like my lessons are proving learned. You know what I mean? And I'm making different choices.
I was just about to say
like,
that.
I've been here before, you know what I mean? Like we've been here before in a different way, but now it's working out differently because we're choosing to show up. And
portal.
Oh, it's the 30 portal, because it's like, are you gonna do it or not? Are you gonna do it or not? And you see so everybody else doing it. You're watching everybody else do it.
You're really, and and I'm so happy I got to talk to you at this. I mean, episode 2, season 2, all these like what? I'm 222. What? Get the fuck out of here. I'm just, it's.
He said 22.
He's a genius.
He's a lion.
We have like, you were saying how yoga got you through a lot of these life transitions, and then you kind of lost the connection with it, and now,
like I stopped breathing.
Obviously now you're reconnecting, but it wasn't something that you could have done. Nope. All these things, the factors were in line for you.
Yeah.
It's just about the timing of it.
I wasn't ready.
It's about can you receive it? Are you, and even
for what
down
it
to
is,
you
and not
saying
what you
like,
want it to be.
Shut up. Even down to the fuck, down to the reels, you're like, it's really marketing, and I have this skill. I do this thing that at one point was being used to serve the system or the machine, right?
The matrix in a horrible way. And like I was in cosmetics and superficial shit. Could you imagine? Imagine like, and I used to be a makeup artist and all the bullshit. Like what? Talk about matrix.
Bruh. And now those skills and the skills are coming back in alignment with like your passion and your calling and healing. And we're talking about a brick and mortar location, which we know is so important in terms of building a generational wealth, building structure, building community, building.
Yes. building my name. Like just like, you know, there's just so much, like the brick and mortar aspect of it. It makes it real for me, right? Because I can be successful intangibly, as far as like, I can make money, but to have a brick and mortar, to have a place, period, a place of healing, period, to have somewhere where I have to show up because no one else is there to show up, and it's yours. It's yours. The same way I show up for my son every single day, I have to show up for my business because now that's my second baby. Because that's different.
Wow.
And even, you know, a lot of spiritual people don't talk about money. Like I talk about money because that's one of the generational curses I'm trying to break. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, we're talking about it because in order to break generational curses of that, I didn't even realize, again, this 30 portal, I didn't even realize my financial habits until I started doing the work. I did a whole like it was a 21-day chakra challenge. I took like 21 weeks because it took me so long to unpack stuff, right? But it's really, really important to go deep. It's really, really important. Yeah. Just it's tangible. It's showing up, and it's changing my mindset about things and how big, like the limiting beliefs that we were talking about, right? I'm trying to change my own mind about what my parameters are, what are my boundaries, right? Thank you, baby. We think our boundaries are one thing until we break that. And then it's like, or not our boundaries, our limits.
Limits.
Right? I mean, which, but like boundaries are limits, right? We associate them with other people, but what about our own? With ourselves.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Right. So like right now, right. So like I have boundaries with yourself. That even when you have boundaries with other people, boundaries can leave you so cut off. Right. Boundaries can also burn a bridge. Right.
Yeah.
But like I think about it, and to have just this brick and mortar and to this big plan, right? Because it doesn't stop here. It begins with land. It begins with ownership. It begins with making my first $1 million. I want that. Shit, how about 100,000? I'll take that. You know what I mean? This year, and not be limited by like how long it could take me to make it. You know what I mean? I can make it in 3 weeks if I really, 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 really tried. Right? So it's just, yeah.
You're wildin'.
But again, these are my own lessons. Like, are we going to do it or not? Because you can talk about it all day.
No cap.
Like, what are the steps you have to take to do it, right? It also includes, eating healthy, drinking water, doing the thing, showing up and doing,
getting rest, taking that time,
getting
like
rest.
tuning into your body.
Right. Damn. Right. Stop making excuses for why you're treating yourself like shit,
You're not lying.
Because like you're the only one suffering, but it's everything. It's even knowing and allowing yourself to deserve it. Knowing and allowing yourself, because we don't allow ourselves to deserve, certain things. And because we're fear of leaving people behind. I know for me, that was a thing because, my mom didn't have this. I was like, well, maybe I can't have it. No.
Yeah.
Wow. Not to be that way, but her destiny is not my destiny. You know what I mean? We got to break that.
I just wrote that in my journal. Again, you're really reading all my shit out of my journal right now. Yeah, I had just read or wrote, it is part of my day does not have to be obligated to other people's problems.
Absolutely.
And I am not obligated to save anyone else, even though I do have that feeling sometimes, but
right. And it's not your obligation. I fucking, that's crazy, Carr. Like I literally today on my story was and it was a read because I was passionate about it this morning. I was irritated. Like my soul was irritated, not only with people, but like myself. Like, you know what I mean? It's again, I try to practice what I preach, but again, there's so many things that I could be doing that could just be like, oh, we're a millionaire. Or boom, we're here's this, we got this, whatever that materialistic thing you wanted is, boom, here it is.
Yeah.
But what else? You know what I mean? But like you gotta do your own stuff. You gotta focus on your shit. The work, the real work is not in physical tasks. The real work is in, okay, well, what do our finances look like, right?
Yeah.
And like not in like a judgmental way, because like right now, this whole Instagram finance game, like a lot of people are there's a lot of cap going on
much cap,
lots of cap on
lids.com
on this whole financial shit, right? And it's just like, okay, but it's just like, I can't even listen to that because that's not a realistic thing. Like all you gotta do is do. Like shut the fuck up, okay? Let me focus
let me
on
do it. Yeah.
Let me scale, because they're like, I had $200,000. We're not even close to that. What are you talking about? Like what?
Yeah. Seed money.
Amount of, like what? You're close to how much in debt?
What?
That's the problem.
I don't know.
Let's not even get there, right? So like I'm trying to do things the way I need to do them, including finance and that's a big thing. That's a big hurdle for me because I've always looked at money one way, and it's in that sense of lack because of my mom's lessons. But however, my dad is the opposite. My dad has always looked at money with abundance, and he's always had it, and he always will. And I'm his daughter, but I'm not one of those kids that's like, hey, I need money. Like
Yeah, yeah.
He'll send it out of the goodness of his heart. And I'm like, bet, thanks, like,
Thank you.
and he will, and he even tells me, like, closed mouth won't get fed, but like, also, let's learn how to feed ourselves. Like, that's like I've always been that one, right? But it's just, there's so many things, like having a business, just all this shit really leads up to breaking generational curses. And I don't want to be in the same place. Cause like right now, 29 is the last year that I can fuck around. You know what I mean? In my own head.
Just
in my
talking
own
that talk. You better
talking
say
the talk.
shit.
Like in my own head, but like honestly, are we going to be on the path?
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, I will be giving it until May 26th at midnight. I'm gonna fuck around this because like I lost some years. I had a baby March 14th of 2020, and then it's been responsibility and now that life is like, ooh, it's kind of slowing down and it's going back to where it needs to be in order to speed up again. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck around these last few months. These last 5 months, I'm gonna fuck around and have a good time. But in the beauty of that is I'm still creating connections and doing my work, quote unquote. Right? I can
Jodie.
still be in Vegas and like, I'm gonna teach yoga class under the full moon, and that's my shit. Right? But I haven't done that yet, but like I could.
That's
like
the play of it.
To be able, that's the play of it. So with the zendan, it makes who I am as a yoga teacher more real. And now I'm also a yoga teacher, but I'm also a business. And I also have an event space. And I have a different seniority to do these things and even my online presence now, like there's been a shift in what I was posting before versus what I'm posting now because I've shifted. You know what I mean? Like now I'm coming with the shit. I'm coming with the shit now. You know what I mean? Down to the vibes, like my confidence that I've always had before, almost arrogance. Which I love. It was gone for a second because I was emotionally like I had to give it to my child first, right? And now like he's in his own shit, right? And he's just as confident as I am. So now like I'm able to shake off that funk of just like where were we? Like who? Oh, we're back. Bet, bitch, I'm a yoga teacher. Like, and I do all these other things now because I didn't have the same magic before when I was just teaching yoga. I had it through my words and it was all like whatever. But like now it's like, okay, now it's a whole thing. Now you're captivated. Now you're listening. Cause like now I've gone through that whole chrysalis and the butterfly. I'm going through it again, bitch. And you thought it couldn't get any better? Like, yes. And it's every time. And so every time I like go down to like do what I need to do and do the work and do the lessons and the spiritual work, the dirty shit, the shit where I gotta really like have the conversations and like be mad and be fucking irritated and be sad. And like sometimes you have to, but like when I pop back up, it's like, you miss me though, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and now like to show up in a personality, now I have a reason to be on Instagram wilding. You know what I mean? Now I have it's I'm as I'm building myself up, I'm also building myself up, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like my business versus my spirit and my
Smith,
mental.
man.
Like I'm a Gemini, I gotta be multitasking at all times.
Yo, Jodie, we do have to wrap here in a second, but I am just so like
whatever. We
I
have a
am
3-hour
just
podcast.
So no, I mean it's just and I'm like going through my little list. I'm like tapping through, like making sure there's so much.
I'll be back.
There's so much. No, you have to come back. You have to come back. You have to.
Yeah.
I'm just so
like, it's important. It's important. Like I don't know. I didn't realize how much I was doing. Again, like conversations like this, they really highlight for me like what I'm actually doing and how much I'm actually doing. Because for me, it just feels like I'm like, well, fuck. Well, I'm like I'm floating. It feels like that. But then when you say like, oh, you're the owner of this, and I'm doing this, it's like it puts it into perspective. Like these aren't small things, and sometimes people take me more seriously than I take myself. Sometimes, like. Cause like for me, it's just my energy. Like I am this bitch. Like, so like when I'm not feeling good about it, sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not this bitch. And people are like, bitch, what? Like
what?
so it's, again, I'm having a child humbles you. So I think what I'm doing now is like, I've had my slice of humble pie. I've swallowed it. And like, not to be crass, but like we're evacuating, you know what I mean? Like now it's time. And just like, I'm still kind of letting go of that humble pie now because at the time, like I had to make space. I had to be humble. Like the universe blessed me with a gift, and like just the gift of pregnancy, and like for me to experience pregnancy is different than other people experiencing pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, with the alignment and being tapped in and him being who came out, like it's like bet this is, you know, this is as above so below. You know what I mean? This is not just me in this. Like I am a vessel. Like I told people that as a yoga teacher, like I'm a vessel for these messages. I didn't understand just growing up and being a little bit, you know, wiser, like me being a vessel was for that, for the magic to really come through and for it to, that's Magic Marley back there. Like that's there's a reason why his name is Marley. You know what I mean? Everything is connected. You know, I was listening to "Is This Love" when he started kicking. That's why his name is Marley. You know, so yeah, it's just everything is aligned. Everything is aligned, and we're in the right place at the right time. And right now, what we're doing is gonna change a lot of lives, and what we continue to do will change a lot of lives. And individually, I know what the fuck I'm doing. It's about to change some lives, and you as well. Like you know, we're doing it. We may not feel like we are the wave, but we are the wave, and we are doing it in real time. And the scale up is real, but you gotta just ride it. Don't try to paddle. just let it take you. You know, let it take you. And I'm talking to myself too, because it's scary. Because like, bitch, we about to be famous and we about to be rich for all the right reasons, but it's scary.
Damn.
But it's scary. But it's
Jodie,
for, and he's holding a tarot card. What? Hold on, what card is this? The Emperor, bitch. What? Can we just talk about the book? Oh my god, I mean that's the fucking end of the podcast.
That's it.
Magic
Listeners,
Marley, what I just say?
Magic Marley in the building. My god. That's my boy.
I don't even know what to do. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna pull a card too, because
oh my goodness.
Look at blind faith. Just have faith. It'll happen no matter what. You know? No matter what.
Chill
out. And that's a passion flower. I have a passion flower at my door. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, listeners, I hope you had a great time, because that's it. I don't know and I'm gonna drop the clip. I think that maybe that'll be the clip.
You have to. You have
Marley
to.
bringing the.
You better put this on YouTube. You better monetize this.
Because that's about to
already
go
famous. Not me. Shit.
Yo, that's my boy. Emperor. Yo, Marley's my boy.
He's talking to you, Carr. Look at that. He's talking to you.
I'm receiving you, bro. I'm receiving. I need to see my man next time I come out in town.
Please do.
Jeez, listeners,
I can't believe it.
I really hope that y'all had a good time. I know I had a good time.
I know I did too.
We're clapping in the studio, which is just my room, but we're clapping for Jodie.
We're in the zendan home edition.
This
is crazy.
I'm so grateful. I really am so grateful. I also just want to just highlight some things that you said in this last little segment that I don't want people to miss. Guys, scaling happens in real time. I think that is like probably one of the biggest.
That's the magic.
That's really some magic. And I like that, you know, don't paddle, just flow, like just get into it. And also knowing yourself, knowing and allowing yourself to deserve. So, okay, I had my little humble pie, but now I have the knowledge, and I'm going to allow myself through choice to walk into what I deserve and to go ahead and be that person. I'm talking about my journal all day today, guys. I wrote in my journal, I said, I asked myself a lot of questions. I was like, maybe there's a point where you just walk in the shoes. Maybe it isn't about how big or how small. You just walk in the shoes, just start walking. Whatever. You just start walking.
You start now.
So I just want, go back, get all the gems, get all of them. I'm going to drop Jodie's information in the description. We'll make sure we link to the Instagram and to the website.
Magic Melanin Mama.
We got to link all that stuff.
The Zendan LA coming to 22 to Pasadena from a real motherfucker like me. It is 2057 North Los Robles Avenue, second floor, Suite 10, right above my Place Cafe. The website is zendanla.com. I'm a web designer, so it's a beautiful website. MelaninBodySoul.com. Get your fire cider. I only got 5 bottles left. I made 40 bottles. I am down to 5. I'm just saying.
No, y'all got to tap in with all of it. You have to, and especially for that shit.
Yeah, COVID be damned. Yes. Thank you.
Damn.
Thank you, Carr. This is amazing.
Jodie, thank
Absolutely
you.
amazing. Absolutely
Jeez.
amazing.
And I will, again, listeners, I'll drop links in the description. I'll drop some of these
All the
gems
links.
in the description, just so
I'm
you
gonna
guys can
update all my
keep up.
shit to make sure it looks good.
Thank you again, Jodie, the magic melanin mama in real truth,
Real time.
in real
Scaling up.
time, scaling up. Next
Together.
podcast is going to be my homegirl Kay, who is the owner of Culture Clash, which is an organization here in Charlotte that is putting on street dance and shows and opportunities, connecting with resources. I can't wait to talk to Kay. Jodie, thank you so much for today.
Absolutely.
And
My
yeah,
pleasure.
You're gonna come back. You're coming back.
Yeah. Send me this recording because this was magic.
This is lit. Okay. Hold on, let me stop this right here. Recording done. Stop.